Welcome back to DontBeKurt, and I'm back after a little bit of an absence. For those who might be following along, I know I've been MIA for a few weeks, and I wish I had a good reason for it, but I really don't. Between traveling and my regular life, as I'm an IT guy at a major corporation and a photographer on the side, I haven't been able to get back to my projects. And I wanted to get back to this, which I started the last episode you guys saw was me talking about I had a new project, E46, and I kind of give a history on the E46 series, which this is. And I wanted to jump back into this and talk about this car, what my plans are for it, a little bit more of its story, and you know, what I hope the end result is when I'm done with this project. So, as I mentioned in the last episode, this is a 2001 330i, which was gifted to me by my uncle. So a little bit more back to why this ended up being gifted to me. So last summer, and that's how old some of this footage is, I got a call from my uncle who told me that he just wanted some help getting the flat changed in his car. AAA came by and they said because the car was rusted, they wouldn't touch it, and he was just wanting to dispose of the car. And I'm like, well, hey, I'll just come over and I can help out. We can see if we can figure this out. So when I got over there, yeah, the car is indeed rusted at the jack point, but as we know, the rigidity of this chassis, you're able to mount the car from the rear jack point and get it going. Well, also the second problem became there weren't any proper tools, and these lugs were so tight on here that I think I broke two of my uncle's socket sets, and I couldn't find the lug tool that came with the car. So turned into come back and we'll do this again. Anyways, came back the following week and brought my wife along because technically this is her family, so uncle by marriage, but you get the point. And brought my lug tools and stuff like that, just thinking I'm just gonna go help get this spare tire changed and get my uncle set on his way. And as we're doing this, you know, we get the tires changed and stuff like that. I see the rust, which I'm going to zoom in sooner. It's pretty traumatic. I'm like, well, here, car's back together, and as I'm doing that, my uncle came back from inside the house, like, well, here you go. You know, do what you want with it. If you end up selling it, you know, remember me. I'm like, sure. So that's how I was really given this car. So I was ecstatic to get this car because this car was well taken care of, and we'll get into that here as we go around the car a little more closely. But let's talk about this rust damage. All right, so for time's sake, I've already taken off the rocker panel for this, but as you can see, as we get lower and lower, you can see that this is eaten up pretty well, and the jack point is right underneath here. Now, I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna put this camera down and get my other camera to kind of demonstrate what we got here, or in fact, I'm going to switch. So, after getting the car, my friend Juan, who at the time was a Bimmer's Rust employee, had a donor 330 where he was taking the front end apart for his own projects, but offered to cut out a piece of his E46 to give to me to help fix mine. So, taillights. Main outer taillights removed, still got to get the upper taillights, and we're all ready now for the interior pretty much removed. Enough to cut what I need from here. So let me get back to work, but I'll check back in later. Yep, so you know what you guys say, measure twice, cut once. We've measured twice, as you can see by the lines. And here it goes. So I have this piece of rocker panel, or sill. I don't know what this is actually exactly. I forgot the name of the exact piece this is. And what I'm hoping is to find somebody who can cut this to match this and just weld this on there. You know, of course, clean out most of this rust. So like we'll have to cut more of this up here, and I have a lot of material to go on here. Cut this up and put this together. The question is, who can do this? How much will it cost? And you know, what's the end result going to be? I don't need it to be pretty. I found one friend who found me in church who seems to be willing to take it on, but you know, they haven't seen what's in front of them yet. This might scare them away. But I am searching. So if you're in the St. Louis area and you want to help me out, we can work out something, payment, something if you want to help or take a stab at putting this together. But anyways, on to the rest of the car and why I believe it's worth it. All right, so this 330, part of why this is attractive is, like I said, being this was my uncle's car, this car was meticulously taken care of. So I got all the service records for, at the time, 23 years worth of service, now 24 years as I've had the car. And he took care of everything. So the car is mechanically intact, a little tired, and we'll get into that. The car is in generally good condition. Some of the wear and tear you might see might be more of quality of BMW parts and stuff that they use at the time for interior versus being improperly cared for. 5-speed manual, as the early pre-facelift models didn't have the 6-speed like the GHP models. So that also made it attractive to me, as my first 330ci only had a 5-speed automatic, which kind of took away some of the fun. Has a Harman Kardon sound system in here. And for the most part, the car is fun to drive. So what all do I need to do, or what all have I done since I've had the car? So let's go take a little looky-loo. So immediately after getting the car, well, not really immediately, but one of the first things were to replace all 4 tires. So I went with my favorite, which are the Continental DWS's Extreme Contact All Season. Best tire in the snow, rain, whatever, all season. It may not be track tires, but for everything else, they're pretty good. And as you can see here, as we walk around the body, there's not too much in terms of dings or whatever, and scratch. There are rusts in the usual locations, kind of like on the other side. This part's solid, this is just more surface. A couple of other damage points are, there's a dent, matching dents on both sides, because this car used to have a Yakima rack system, as you probably saw in the first video, and just a few bumps here and there. And this is not going to be a show car or a concourse car when it's done, but I think a full proper refurbishing of the mechanical components, suspension, and getting this rust spot done, and doing, you know, the basic mods, which I guess you can do, like a dyno intake, exhaust, and throttle body, and that's that. And you could have a nice little 330i. So that's it. That's my plan. My plan is to refurbish this car and make it a proper driver for Sunday activities and fun stuff like that. As is a family car, I don't have any real inclination to sell this and flip it or whatever. I'd like to have this done and just have something as a fun car that can be driven anytime. And like I said, let me go, actually, you know, I'm skipping ahead. So here's the only issue with the interior. So the seat split, the A-pillars are coming apart a little bit. Back's in good shape. You got some trim that's coming apart a little bit. And that's that. Oh, almost forgot. Besides the tires, the other thing I did, like I said in my How to Buy a Cheap 3 series, the cooling system in this car was completely refreshed. So also, there were some issues with the sway bar. Sway bar links were kind of jacked up. In fact, they were completely disconnected. So when I first got the car, it was just a clunk as you would go left to right. And we put it on the lift for the first time. First things first, the old links are removed, and this was what we first saw, that this was disconnected. But the idea here that this was completely, took the under tray off, you realize that the sway bar was just there. Makes no sense. I don't know who did it. There have been several people in the receipts that could have been possible, have not left this thing screwed in properly, but that's neither here nor there. Nobody got injured, the car wasn't damaged by it, but that was repaired. But going back to, yeah, so the cooling system, complete rehab job, new radiator, new water pump, all the pipes underneath the intake manifold changed, complete job redone there. So in my theories of cars being mechanically totaled and paying for the experience, that's part of paying for the experience. I mean, with the rust damage there, this car probably isn't worth doing all that, but it is for sentimental reasons and for experience reasons. So that's why we're there. So that's what this project car is going to be. It's going to be a refurb. It might be a faux ZHP when it's all done. Who knows? Maybe I'll get an M-Tech 2 bumper, put up front and make it look a little more ZHP-ish, but being pre-facelifts, I don't know. It might be actually pretty cool to keep it as it is because it's kind of stately the way it is with this the wheels it has and stuff like that, and being a non-sport variant. I like the wooden shifter. I like the wood trim in here. It's kind of classy. So that's it. That's my 330i, and it's going to be part of the series. Next episode, I'm going to come back and circle back to this car, the Mini, and the 318 E30, and kind of talk about my dilemma I'm kind of in. So stay tuned for that. That'll be next week's episode, or maybe in a few days, depending on how filming goes, as I have some availability to get caught up with you guys. And guys, thank you guys for watching, and for those who helped me hit my 500, thank you to you all. That you sure know how to make a guy feel pretty good about himself. I'm definitely trying to be a little more consistent. I'm sorry for missing for the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so, but I'll be back with some other content with, again, the Perfect Car for Everybody series, which I have another car that I have some filming that I finished that I did during my travels. And of course we got the Mini, and back to some Porsche stuff, which I'd like to get back and talk about what I'd like to do with that car, and some more club experiences. Because part of what I want to do here with this channel is, being in St. Louis, Missouri, I think there's a good car culture scene here. So eventually I'd like to get to interviewing people, talking about their cars, and sharing that with the rest of the world. So anyways, I've been rambling for a while. Again, please like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. It really means a lot, all the views. I mean, a little bit matters to me. So keep watching, tell your friends, and combined we'll make this thing something. You know, St. Louis car scene is a thing, and let's get it out there. So catch y'all later. Peace.